Safe to Serve family, first-time viewers, welcome to this midday power surge. I'm striking a solemn note today for obvious reasons based on what you saw in the title and in the opening thumbnail. I missed you all on yesterday. So much going on. I was accommodating a number of phone calls, a number of in-person meetings regarding the crisis going on right now in Jamaica. And by God's grace, I'm going to use my platform continually to keep a spotlight on this great crisis, this great need. Several things I refused to say earlier. I was waiting on my contacts on the ground to do their due diligence, research, fact-checking, so I can come to you with the proper diagnosis of that great situation, as well as the practical steps to move forward. And today, I'm going to share a number of those things with you. Now, later on in this broadcast, you will be able to call in and share what you have to share. Ask questions that are pertinent and relatable to the topic at hand. Now, friends, today I'm going to be addressing the horror stories of death and destruction in Jamaica. Is it possible to survive Hurricane Melissa and yet die due to hunger, thirst, and disease? You watch what I'm going to cover today. And I'm hearing from a number of people right now, Pastor, not only to me, but even on the media, people are saying, as they said to me, life after the storm is worse than life during the storm. Is that possible? It is definitely possible. I'm going to say a few more words, hoping that a few more folks can join the live, because I have some salient things to cover today. And by God's grace, help is on the way. You know, friends, in Luke 21, I'm going to give you a quick synopsis, and then in about 2-3 minutes, I'll get into the crux of the matter here. But all these things we see transpiring, I believe, are simply a dress rehearsal of greater crises to come. The people right now in Jamaica are going through great distress and perplexity. And that word perplexity means being in a crisis, but you don't see a way out. They are troubled on every side. But the Bible says, be not distressed. Perplexed, yes, but not in despair. That's 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 8 and verse 9. And these calamities, Luke 21, verse 25, verse 26, the sea and waves will be roaring. Natural calamities, even man-made calamities. The sea and waves roaring. And God's words tell us that islands of the sea are going to be destroyed. Jamaica is an island. Again, I'm talking for the next minute or so until more folks join the live. If you go to Revelation 6, if you focus on verse 12 through verse 17, islands are going to be destroyed. Revelation 16, verse 20, islands are going to be destroyed. I was talking to my family members on last evening. I was so consumed, and rightly so, with phone calls, in-person meetings about what's happening in Jamaica. I didn't even catch the news report of what's happening now in the Philippines. The central Philippines. Do I have it here? Yes. A typhoon destroyed Central Philippines. That was yesterday. 85 people dead and counting. Mercy, friends. A storm, typhoon, winds, floods, rain, cyclone, tidal waves, typhoon. Just as inspiration says, the islands of the sea will be destroyed. Where's the Philippines? It's right there, red arrow. These are signs of the last days. Great Controversy, page 589. The cyclones, the typhoons, the floods, the waves, tornadoes, signs of the last days. And these things are going to become more frequent and more disastrous. Just as we're seeing now. It happened in the time of Job. Friends, I was having a conversation with a family that moved back to Jamaica that used to attend our local church in Ocoee, Florida. I have several testimonies today. And she had a home that was built in Jamaica. And they're tying up loose ends here in America, specifically Miami. If you know, you know who I'm talking about. And the phone calls came in. The storm destroyed your home. The whole roof is gone. Not only that, water containers to contain water destroyed. And then came looting, prowlers, robbers, emptied the woman's house. I mean, phone calls after phone calls. I won't call the name right now. Let's say Sister D. Sister D, this happened. Okay, look into that. She's praying. A second call, same day. This happened. Mercy. Calamity after calamity. And she said to me yesterday on the phone, I felt like what Job went through. Just as you can see right here on page 589 of Great Controversy, trouble succeeding trouble, one after another, as in a moment, everything swept away. And what is the end goal? The end result is going to be the mark of the beast is going to be enforced. It's going to be enforced. Beloved, come back over here, Jared. For those of you who have no concern about what's happening here, don't be cloyed, because I'm going to inundate you. This platform is going to be used to keep a spotlight on what's happening there. I want to read you a statement from Matthew 7. And by now, the folks should be here. All right, friends, let's get into the crux of the matter right now. That was simply the introduction. In Matthew 7, and verse 1 and verse 2, those of you who have a heart, a Christian mindset, hear what this says. Verse 1. Verse 2. For with what judgment you judge, you shall be judged. And what you measure out will be measured unto you. Verse 12 of Matthew 7. Therefore, all things whatsoever you would that men should do to you, do you even so to them. For this is the law and the prophets. You know, friends, when this news broke last week, I asked one question. Lord, what if I were in Jamaica? And by the way, full disclosure, one of my parents, go figure, came from the western parish of Jamaica. Mm-hmm. What if one of them, what if I were in Jamaica and went through this? What support would I want from those who can help? And that's why today I'm going to focus on this. I always talk about implementing the 5 keys of survival. And key number 1, conversion. Number 2, country living, etc. Number 3, having food, water, resources on your property in the country. Number 4, evangelism and not being dependent on the system. But number 5, key number 5, assisting those who are less fortunate. Do not give God lip service. He wants heart service. Second point. It was just last year, July 2024, when Hurricane Beryl, you remember that? Ravaged several Caribbean islands and struck Jamaica. And there was a loud lamentation right there in Jamaica. And I remembered people, we dug deep into our shallow coffers. Make that make sense. And we began to assist individuals. You remember that, the videos on our platform. Folks receive funds for food and shelter. But my friends, what we're now seeing, the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa, makes Beryl look like child's play. It is 10 times, 20 times, 100 times worse. Why am I saying that? It simply means that by God's grace, I'm not sure where the resources are going to come from. But by God's grace, as a ministry, as an individual, as my family, we are going to dig even deeper in our shallow purse and wallets, coffers, because the people need greater assistance. Those who are Seventh-day Adventists and those who are not of the household of faith. Beloved, there's one chorus, refrain I kept on hearing yesterday, Monday, Sunday, and Sabbath evening, especially after my 2 sermons on Sabbath, in the afternoon earlier and the evening message. Pastor, the media is not doing what's happening here justice. The media can only show you so much. But Pastor, you have to see it in person. It's worse in person than what the media shows you. As a matter of fact, you watch this. Clip 1.
For those Jamaicans who are eager to head down to the affected parishes, please listen to these voice notes before you do so.
Yo, see there? My virgin sister got down there in the sugar, but he never end up go. Down at St. Elizabeth there. Go and donate some stuff for them pack. Food stuff. And then just tell me, say, yo, one of the boy come there, want more than one, and go say 1 bag not enough. So them give him 2 bags, him say him still want more than that. Them not give him more because them say it have to share. The man go away and come back with a bag of man. You know, I'm tell them say a 5 bag him want. Man, them come back, come hold them up at gunpoint and empty everything out of the vehicle and rob them of them phone, them purse, everything. I just say, yo, look there. And the man say, mother friend go down there too. And them rob that person. So I tell them, say, that's why them say I have to go to security forces. Because them boy, you see, man, them boy.
Okay. Them boy. All right. Them boy. Some folks in the studio are like, what is he saying? Did you comprehend? No? Okay. So you have Christ's Good Samaritans. They gathered up resources, food, water, and they began to travel down into Ground Zero, St. Elizabeth, one of the parishes severely devastated. And as they were passing out the care packages, they're trying to make sure they serve each family person 1 bag first. If there were leftovers, then they can allocate 2 bags, 3 bags, etc. But before all of that, a gangster walked into the midst and said, I want more than 1 bag. The attendants said to him, not now. Let's make sure others are served first. He would not accept that. So he walked away and called more gangsters. And they brought their guns. And at gunpoint, Yeah. Manhandled the people, the assistants, and took away everything from the assistants. Not only care packages, but took their cell phones, purses, wallets. And then the person giving a testimony said another family member went down there and something similar happened. These are the horror stories going on right now in Jamaica. And there's more. I've heard report upon report, and this is not to paint a bad picture. But as you can see, it says warning, and more warnings are coming. Hold on right there. This is the actual situation on the ground. There are stories where people are traveling down there. You need to travel with security. Armed security. That's what the person just said. And later on, I'm going to speak to that. There are stories wherein you have the people in the community destitute, desperate. And what they do is they put a dead body in the road to block traffic. And as the concerned citizens refuse to drive around the dead body, stop. How can we assist? What's happening here? And just as soon as they stop, the gangsters will just attack, break windows. You can't windows won't save you. Break windows in vehicles, open doors, and take whatever they want from the actual motorists and attendants, the good Samaritans. So now in the Bible, it was a man that was wounded, and the good Samaritan went to help him. But today we're seeing it's the good Samaritan who goes to help the wounded. It's also being wounded. What is happening here, friends? These are the horror stories. Beloved, I was waiting until my contacts were ready to be mobilized, and they're now ready. I have 3 separate groups on the island who are now receiving funds to go and assist SDAs and non-SDAs as I speak right now. Even while driving here, I was on the phone with several families. Let me give you this brief account here before I move forward. We are in the process of not only giving people food and water, and I'll get to that. You wait for those stories, just wait. But how can we provide temporary housing? People have no homes, no house. How? So we are now putting things in place, and we already have a few temporary housing structures for people. Temporary housing for people. That will be delivered between between tomorrow and Sunday. Tomorrow and Sunday in Jamaica. And by God's grace, I asked them to roll those video clips, send them to me, and those pictures until we get down there. But I'll get to that. So they'll be working. I can best assist them while I'm here. And once they are firmly going forward, then we will go. Temporary housing. But something struck me, and that is, what about sanitation? In a disaster area, one of the chief things to address is not just hunger and thirst, but people can die not only from hunger and thirst, but die from disease. You need proper sanitation. So I made a few inquiries today with one of the 3 groups I'm dealing with. And he said to me, Pastor, at this point, we have 2 main options for sanitation. 2 main options. One is to have porta potties, but that's not practical right now. They are very expensive. especially now, inflation and price gouging. And number two, once you have a porta potty, it must be serviced. Be serviced, not practical right now. So the next better option is the pit toilet, P-I-T, pit toilet. And by the way, most folks in the dense rural districts in the country, that's what they have. Pit toilets. That's what you may have to do. And put one of your temporary structures over it. And then that you can use for feces. And then you need another section where you have large tubs, gallons of clean water. For what purpose? People can what? Wash their hands. You would die of cholera, die of diarrhea. Yeah. Bacteria in the intestines, mouth, throat, esophagus, throat, abdomen, you would die from disease. It's a crisis. I'm hearing, Pastor, someone said to me on Monday, again, I was waiting to get all the info, get the groups mobilized on the grounds. Pastor, if people don't have a strong stomach, as we would say in Jamaica, if you can't tolerate devastation and death, do not go down to ground zero. Once you get to a particular crossroads, the stench of death is in the air. Dead animals from dogs, cats, goats, cows, chickens. The stench of death is in the air. Death bodies. Yeah. The dead is swollen, almost to burst asunder. The stench of death is in the air. And by the way, the death toll of people is higher than the media is reporting. And that is expected because they have not yet gone into the the areas that have been severely impacted to really count numbers. And some folks are unaccounted for. Some are now being thrown in shallow graves. So I'm going to keep this light shining in the area right now. Horror stories. Now, please, if you're going down there with assistance, do not, okay, let me say it this way. Plan to make sure you travel in daylight. You can distribute in daylight. And you can begin to leave the area before it begins to get dark. Not to mention the traffic going in and out. This is not a time for sight seers and for pictures. If somebody is drowning at sea and you have a lifeboat, who are the only folks that must be in the lifeboat? We don't want cheerleaders in the lifeboat. The only folks in the lifeboat are people who are going to rescue and those who are being rescued. Next clip. Watch this. Horror stories.
Good morning, UCCF. I would have extended the invitation to go to St. Elizabeth and Westmoreland today. I'm still on the highway coming back, right? Do not go down there if you don't have to.
Mercy.
Or if you don't have a security. Don't get up in a group of women, or do not go down there unless you are going to somebody directly. All right? And do not go down there for the whole photo shoot business. This is serious business we're dealing with. I have never seen this in my life before. A movie alone, me see these things, you know. You're passing and people, children are shoving out their hands and say, please, beg some water. Me hungry, please, me I beg you. And And these people are people we couldn't even drive by, but we have to drive past some of these people. It is not for the weak of heart. I will not encourage you guys to go down there on your own. Right? If you want to get stuff and give it to the men for them to bring down there. So this is also for the women as well. Not saying that women aren't needed, but we don't think we need no women down there at this point. All right, get the things, them ladies, and get the man them, because we also need people to clean out the roadway. Down there stink, right? Like a lot of dead animals. I don't know if people know them dead things, but down there stink. And it's going to be a very traumatic experience for you guys. So please do not go down there. I tell you, it's crazy. It is really crazy. It's a good thing I was in my uniform and I was escorted by my fellow soldiers and police officers. All right, else I would have still been down there stuck in traffic and all that.
Notice. So he is either, because he said he was in his uniform. Uniform meaning what? He's either a part of the military or the constabulary force, the police force. And he was being escorted by other policemen or military escorts. You heard what he just said a while ago? This is no time for a photo shoot. Hi, everybody. I'm live streaming from Jamaica. Look what's happening. This is not for that. Serious times we're living in. Now, some people might be scoffing at what's happening here. I said to someone on yesterday, do you know that what is coming is going to be worse than this? That's number one. Number two, I want you all, please, I would not spend the time now to read every single word in those 2 paragraphs. But before you go to bed tonight, if you can, read the book, The Great Controversy. The chapter entitled, The Destruction of Jerusalem. In my version, go to page 31 and page 32. You'll find something very similar to robberies going on. People were robbing food from the elderly. It was so catastrophic that folks became cannibals. It's coming again. It's serious. Watch carefully.
Persons are robbing persons, right? Taking away the things out of the vehicle. If you stop people just running, jump out, lick out your glass and go out the things them. It is very serious. All right, so do not think this is a joke thing. It is very, very, very dangerous and serious down that side. So take it as me tell you. All right, bless.
I was speaking to a family on yesterday, and this home was in, I believe, in Hanover. That's far west, St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover, on that side. And her roof was destroyed. And she began to list the items, and the husband, that the actual robbers came in and took. All the items she carried down from the States, shipped down. Her house was emptied. Desperation, destitution. Go read Lamentations chapter 4. All of you are live in the comment section right now. Chapter 4 of Lamentations, verse 8 through verse 10. The cannibalism. I heard accounts of mothers having premature babies. Not in hospitals. The anxiety, the trauma. I was speaking to a brother yesterday, and he said the sight was like this. Even a grown man ran to a police officer, holding on to him, crying, grown men crying. And I remember Jeremiah 30, verse 5 through verse 7. What is coming in the last days, the time of trouble, Jacob's time of trouble, it's going to be as if men are having babies. Grown men. And one of those men died due to dehydration. What? Yeah. There's no good water to drink. I saw roads destroyed. Literally. The reporter was actually giving a laugh, stating, this is not a road, it's a gully. Gully. If you know, you know. People are marooned. They can't leave their communities. Not even a bicycle can traverse the terrain. Bikes, motorcycle, nope. No vehicles. The only thing that might be able to cross those paths, you go on foot or maybe on a donkey. That's it. So how would they receive help? And that's why I'm going to share this with you. The 3 groups that we have contact with, we're working through right now. After prayer and discussion, we have decided to address this in phases, because simply giving people a bag of food and some water, that's not it. So the immediate need right now, obviously, is prayer. Obviously, is food. Obviously, is water. Obviously, besides those, it's going to be a shelter. Temporary housing, dwelling. And that's what we're now doing. Food, water, and temporary shelter. But we can't do it for everybody. But the little that we have, we are allowing it to spread. Lord, as we prayed this morning, Lord, as you bless a boy's lunch, hear me, hear me, hear me. A boy's lunch in John 6. 5 loaves of bread, 2 fishes, to feed 5,000 men, not counting women and children. Lord, do it again. Sometimes, even now from last week, I said, Lord, I feel like Philip in John 6. I feel like Andrew, and my name is Andrew in John 6. Who said, Lord, what are these among so many? What are these? I don't have much, Lord. What is this among so many? And as it were, he said, what did I do? I prayed. And I thanked God, my Father. And as I opened my eyes and began to distribute to my disciples and from them to the people, it multiplied. A miracle was wrought. And the same God yesterday is the same God today. So I believe that the little that we have, pray over it and start distributing it and make sure it goes to Christ's disciples, those who are trustworthy on the ground, because many people are scam artists. A pretty term. They're thieves. Try to raise money and then they break off a piece for themselves. Like Ananias and Sapphira in Acts 5. Oh yes, we'll give all to God's cause, but held back some. Deception. They were smitten right there, dead. So all of you beware. Do not play with God. He's not to be trifled with. Warning, warning, warning. Again, back to my point. The small that you have, the little you have, make sure you pray first. Lord, to whom should I send this? To distribute it. Go in fasting and prayer if needs be. And as you pass it out, they will give you a receipt to confirm what was done with those funds. And the evidences are there of the impact. Now, secondly, after food and water and the temporary shelter and digging pit for sanitation and having these massive gallons of water for hand washing, etc., and even to take a bath, Lord have mercy. Do you know some people have not bathed since last week? Today's Wednesday. We all took a shower this morning. They have not taken a shower since last week. Let's pause for a moment, my friends. Pause right there. Let that sink in. Some of us, if we go to our beds without even taking a shower, circumstances, we feel as if we sinned. Imagine for a whole week and counting. And what was in their stomach? They must have passed that out in stool. Some don't even have toilet paper. Let it sink in. Because the water destroyed everything. And after wiping, you have to wash. So for one whole week, their rear end has not been washed. Let that sink in. And we come thinking only food and water? Go beyond that. So what I was counseled to do in prayer and by a number of other folks is, after the immediate assistance, we may have to target one area. We can't help everybody. One area. And put the thrust, the impact of the resource in that one area. And that would make a greater impact than to be spreading everything all over the place. Different communities with no lasting impact. But Pastor, what about the government? What about them? What about them? If you wait on them, you may wait in vain. That is not to vilify the Prime Minister and the leader of the opposition, but that's just reality. Reality. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe what they're thinking of is long term. They're going to come inside there and rebuild all these homes. But right now, you can't rely on that. And as Christians who believe in the 5 keys of survival, government, if you rely on the government, you become a pauper. And then they may have various conditions to be met. Stipulations, requirements, you must meet or no resources, no assistance. What if they roll out the mark of the beast system? Then the people will have to receive the mark of the beast to receive assistance. You see my point? So God expects us to help those who are of the household of faith and others who, by God's grace, will come in later on by seeing the work of the Good Samaritan. So that's our focus. Do what we can now and then focus on one area and focus the resources there so we can have a greater long-lasting effect. And with that effort, then we can do even a greater work of evangelism. So like Nehemiah, we can have a hammer in one hand and a sword in the other hand. A hammer in sword. I'll come back to the sword. A hammer in one hand, a sword, the Bible sword, the Bible in the other hand. And in that community, we can leave a lighthouse for God. Could this be an opportunity to establish a lighthouse in these areas with a big logo, 3 angels? These were angels in human form that came to us. These folks came to us When others forsook us, just mere talk, they came to our aid. Christ met the people where they were. He met their need and then bid them follow him, follow me. Could this be an opportunity? Could this be an opportunity? Now, it doesn't matter how large the SDA group is on the island. They still cannot reach everybody. They can't. So we can sit back and say, well, John Doe will do it. Mary Doe will do it. Now, what are you going to do? What am I going to do? That's the question. And how we treat others is how we shall be treated. Let's get back to the sword. Do you realize the horror stories on the island? Do you realize while everything else was washed away, the gangsters' guns were not washed away? Just imagine them running for their lives, but holding on to their guns. Because in their minds, that's how they're going to rebuild. Rebuild? Lightning and thunder. Let's continue here. Watch carefully. Watch.
We saw after the Haitian earthquake, there was a rise in cholera that was brought in by relief workers. We don't know if relief workers are coming in with other diseases as well. And we have an incubator now of persons who are living outdoors. They're prone to respiratory conditions and they are prone to gastroenteritis as well as mosquito-borne diseases.
Oh, okay. Jared, for those who don't know, the man in the back, the one in the Jamaican hat, in the maroon color shirt, that's the leader of the opposition. So this right here is an official press conference. Are together? And he's telling you what happened in Haiti. Those who came to assist them, earthquake destroyed a portion of Haiti. They were the ones that brought cholera. That's documented. BBC News, CNN, documented. The UN apologized. Yes, the assistants brought disease on the island. Lord have mercy. Hold on. So the people survived the earthquake, but died from disease. That's why I'm asking the question, could it be that life after Hurricane Melissa is worse than life during the hurricane? And now he's telling you what's happening down there. St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, those two parishes, Trelawney, the next parish over there. They're now seeing signs to expect a virus, disease. That means leaders must act quickly. They must act quickly. I've heard reports about people already showing signs of vomiting, running, diarrhea. I was going to say running belly. Oh, if you know from Jamaica. Diarrhea. That tells you something, what's happening down there. And just imagine, people are coming in, right, to assist. If they get contaminated, infected, what happens? They bring it back to their communities. They bring that back to their homes. Do you know we can have the whole island shut down? This could be worse than the pestilence 19 pandemic that just passed. Quarantine the whole island. Now that might sound as Pastor, that's hyperbole. Is that so? If the devil has his way, death and destruction through disease. Just as we're told in the book Great Controversy, calamities come, second to last sentence, then come diseases. Blue words on top, disease and disaster until populous cities are reduced to ruin and desolation. Beloved, I was told right now that there are, I'm speaking about the groups I have mobilized on the island right now, that there are companies right now, wholesale companies, that put together what is called care packages. Some 3,000, some for 5,000, some for 8,000, different levels. Of course, Jamaican dollars. And it's 150 to 1 US. 150 Jamaican dollars to 1 US. 3,000 package, 5,000, 8,000. And of course, the larger the package, the more items in the package. Food, water, and maybe some toiletries in the package. And the price varies, depends on where you go. And just think about one bag, one care package. That's really a day worth of supplies. One packet, one bag, maybe a day and a half. Do you see the dire situation right now? So that means we need much prayer. And by God's grace, we will have to call a fasting and prayer for what's happening there in Jamaica. Now, God will work miracles, but he wants us to make a sacrifice. If you were there in distress and perplexity, would you want folks to assist, even fast and pray on your behalf? I'm sure you would. All right. Right now you're seeing, we were checking for airline tickets. Airline tickets. First of all, I believe I heard a word yesterday, the airport in Montego Bay, in that area, West Jamaica, has now been reopened for flights. But if you go online, the flights are very scarce. Obviously, very scarce. And with some airlines, for one ticket, it's almost $1,000 for one ticket. One ticket. Oh yes, first class. One ticket, almost 1,000 in the cabin, main cabin. Imagine that. And for some people, you may have to, listen, just send the money. Just send the money. Because some may want to bring the whole family down there. How much will you spend in airline tickets? Number one. Number two, where will you stay? Where are you going to stay? Because many hotels were destroyed. And the few into other parishes, I'm hearing reports, severely booked. Obviously. Yeah. So think about these things before you get down there. Think, plan wisely before you jump to any decisions that will cause you to regret what is happening there on the grounds. My mother called me yesterday and she received a report of a SDA family. Again, we focus first on SDAs, then we broaden our reach. And this family was in that parish over there. I won't call the parish name. And the hurricane destroyed the whole structure. And the only area that was left standing was the kitchen. The kitchen. So they had to actually move themselves into the kitchen, and small quarters in the kitchen. So now, my mother is assisting that family right now as we speak. Not just food and water. Temporary housing, a temporary bed, like a cot. Cots, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Any form of temporary housing. And then a few more pennies for that family to put up a structure so they can have a roof over their heads. The situation is dire as I speak right now. And that's why yesterday I could not go live for Midday Power Surge. calls upon calls and meetings upon meetings. Watch this one here. Watch this. Watch this.
All right. Currently, I live in St. Thomas. Everybody know me as Westy.
So St. Thomas is on the far eastern side of Jamaica. But hear what he says now, how he traveled to the western side. St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover, Trelawney. Watch this.
All right. Currently, I live in St. Thomas. Everybody know me as Westy. And literally, I never hear from the people them, so I drive come down here. And when I come down here, honestly, it don't look good. The people them need help. You see the message that I send it directly to Mark Golin, Dayton Campbell, Andrew Wanless. The people them want water down here. People them literally are dead for thirst, dead for hungry. Everything. People them want chapal in, they don't have nothing now to sleep. The kids them literally, you can't see kids them, they don't know where, like them literally got dead. We need one copter to come down here, come drop some food for the people them. The people them have nothing to drink, nothing to eat. That not look good. And the amount of people when I see a carrot care package and I tell you, oh, Dayton can reach out to Beats and Spring left all people them yet. The people them have nothing to eat. Like, if maybe some of them are dead tomorrow. Thirsty, them are dead for thirst. And remember, they never prepare for storm because some of them never have nothing to prepare for storm. And the things them when them buy for storm run out. Imagine you don't know if you sleep. You don't know if you sleep. And you still don't have nothing to eat. Come on, we are human being people. We need some help in the fall. Beast and Spring, I beg you no. Mr. Andrew Wanless, send one copter down here. I mean next week. I mean tomorrow. Today and Monday. I mean Tuesday. We want the people them to get water. Literally people don't know water to drink. Me carry about 6 cases of water and I tell you, it look like if me never stand up strong, people don't want water me for water. Like if people they need the water, if they want something, if people are dead. So Mr. Andrew Wanless, Mark Golin, Dayton Campbell. Me like you, you know. Because you're outspoken, me like you. Send one copter come help the Beats and Spring and left all people them.
Are you wheel up here?
You hear me I tell you, bossy? Andrew Wanless, when you're done with the politics business, bossy. Me I beg you no. You see left all people them, they really need them, boss. Me not see no horse down here. Me I tell you the truth, a camera ready on the live. St. Elizabeth people don't feel like all them people down here, so no house no left. Out of change in our one house, we only have 6 houses in our district.
Mercy.
You know, look good. And we not see no
Okay, friends, some of you didn't get all the points, but here's the last point. Out of 300 homes in a district, only 6 are left. And of course, those 6 are also damaged, but the others decimated. Children are suffering, the elderly, those who are incapacitated, immobile. Imagine what's happening there. I want to put that number on the screen, preacher, please. That number on the screen. 689-777-5198. Hear me, Safe to Serve International first-time viewers. Hear me. I want you, if you are in a dire need right now, reach out to us. We don't have much, but what we have, we are going to assist with what we have. And God will multiply the little that we have. WhatsApp, call us on WhatsApp, 689-777-5198. Not now, after the program. 689-777-5198. On WhatsApp, call, text. If you can email, you email. Obviously, those who are at the very bottom of the barrel, as it were, worst of the worst, they can't charge their phones, they can't call. So it's twofold. Those who can, reach out to us. Secondly, if you know somebody, reach out on their behalf. Each one helps another. Pause right there. I was speaking with a SDA brother in the mountains of Jamaica, and he had solar panels, and God mercifully preserved his structure. Do you know in that community, almost as we just heard, almost every other structure was destroyed. And the people who knew of this brother before, as he went checking on them, they began to go to him for refuge. He's housing a few people. And then folks come to him to charge their phones so they can, communicate with the world. Family members, check on them and make people know that they are okay. He gave me a story how a lady, a neighbor of his, brought a 5-gallon bag of all meat products inside there from her freezer because she has no electricity. I won't call his name. Let's call him Brother G. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. Brother G, please, I'm begging you. I know you're plant-based. I know what you stand for. But can you please put this somewhere so I don't lose these meats? Do you know what he did? Go figure. He assisted. Horror stories of what's going on there. So please, if you are the person, reach out to us. WhatsApp, the number, text us, call us after the program. If you email us, or if you know somebody, reach out on their behalf. Now, of course, the communication lines are broken. So if we cannot do it from here in the States, I'm going to put you in connection with the folks we have on the grounds. We have 3 different groups working on 3 different projects on the islands. So wherever you are, we'll find the group that is the closest to you and make that contact. Because for some folks, you can't send funds over their regular channels. They must get it, boom. And for some people, you must bring the goods to them. That leads me to a second point. Some of you are planning to ship things down to Jamaica. Prayerfully think about that. Because right now there's a backlog. Obviously. Okay? And how long will your items, building materials, you source those materials, you ship them. How long will that take to get to Jamaica? And from there to clear. And then to be brought to the area. You see my point, friends? So right now, while that is in motion, I'm not saying disregard that. While that is in motion, don't stop that. Do that. But on the other hand, what can you do right now is to send the funds down there and by God's grace, get the items on the ground. Food, water, temporary housing, building supplies, whatever. A cot, we call that hammocks, a mattress, whatever it takes. Buy locally right now. And expect the prices to be high. So friends, I want to hear from you. I'm going to open the phone line now for those who have a question, concern, you may call in right now. 689-777-5198. 689-777-5198. If you have a question, have a concern, you may call in right now before we go into a season of prayer. It is a dire situation right now in Jamaica. I just received, while I'm talking here, one of the groups that we're working with on the island. I heard someone say in the chat, ADRA is helping Jamaica, Rosemary. That's good. ADRA is helping, that's great. But ADRA is not going to reach Adra is not going to reach everybody. Adra's not going to reach everybody. What, the fifth key of survival is we helping somebody, not Adra. Is we helping some, not Adra. Not Adra. Caller, you're live on the air. What's your question? What's your concern? Your point based on what we're covering today?
Well, my question is, I'm Hello Love on the chat, and I do have a store in Virginia, and I have lots and lots of sanitary supplies. I also have lots of clothes, so I don't know at what point it'll be, for them to need or to even be able to get. But I just want you to know that, okay? God blessed me with a store here. I evangelize here, and I do have.
If
Okay.
If you can, after the program, call me back
Mm-hmm.
and let's
Will
talk about
do.
that.
Very well.
Because we do need clothes.
I do have clothes,
Okay.
Pastor.
So call
Yes,
me back
shoes.
afterwards.
I have clothes. I have shoes. Yeah. Okay.
Anything else? Thank you so much, my sister.
That's it. You're welcome. Thank you.
Sure.
Bye-bye.
Sure.
Bye.
Hillary's asking, people in the chat are asking who on the grounds are they to send the money to. You can simply reach out to us, Safe to Serve, first. Thank you. Okay, 689-777-5198. Any more concerns? Any questions? Okay, friends, it's not time to be blasting and vilifying the Prime Minister. That will help us. That would not help us. It's what we can do for the people as a household of faith. That won't help us. We can stay there, point fingers all day. That would not help us right now. All right? Any questions? Any concerns? One last call, 689-777-5198. If not, we will go into a season of prayer at this time. Caller, you're live. What's your
Hello.
concern, your question,
Hello, Pastor.
your point?
Well, I am calling from the UK, and at the moment, my plan is I've been doing it with my family, is to send stuff to Jamaica for them, and they're helping out in their community. It's Senton, and they're going through a bit. Some parts of Senton is going through a little bit of problems as well, so I'm trying to help on that side.
Okay, thank you. If you want, just call me back and then let's see how we can coordinate some things. Thank you. Caller, you're live. What's your feedback from what we covered today?
Pastor, I just want to speak to the people of Jamaica. I work hurricane disaster. I've been on the ground since the days of Michael's and every other storm that passed through. And I know the news really cannot cover the devastation that really takes place. You will never get to see the true disaster. So from someone who has experience in it, those that are in Jamaica, give them time. It is the hardest thing to try and help people.
Yes.
That you want to help and you can't reach them because you don't have the strength and the supply. I've been on the ground over and over again, and it may seem like nobody hears your cry. But for one who's been there, we hear your cry, but there's only so much we could do. I've seen soldiers and everyone running without any strength, no sleep.
Yes.
When they get in, they can't even sleep because of how tired they are. Their mind cannot rest. So don't think that they are not trying to get to you. They see the devastation. The roads are damaged in such a way that they cannot even reach you. For me, who've been on the ground with Hurricane Michael, it was like a lawnmower mowed the whole city. So when I look at Jamaica, I know, and this storm was worse than I've ever seen. Now,
Yes.
because of my eyewitness of storms, I know I cannot tell you how bad it is until I get on the ground. And no news could cover it, because when the camera is panning, it can only pan so much.
So true.
But everywhere will be disaster. But please, please, I beg you, pray more than you've ever prayed before. Ask God's mercy, but take time. They're coming.
Patience.
It's just a matter of time
Yes.
before they get to you. And I know as days go by, it's going to get really frustrating, because hunger will kick in, disease will kick in. But at the same time, we have a God who sees and knows, and he's your best helper in the time of trouble. That's my word.
Thank you so much for that call. It was right on point, my brother. Thank you.
Praise God.
Caller, you're live. What's your feedback based on our topic for today?
Hey, good afternoon. You know, one of my church sister, a home that is pastor. As I was saying, that somebody that I've known, when she sent me the picture of her house, is a house that I slept in. I know exactly in Westmoreland where that is. She also needed a lot of help. And when I actually see the pictures of my country, I'm just wondering if it's my country. And as they said, you can't make a good crisis go to waste. And the people are so vulnerable for anything and everything. My heart really goes out. And I'm so thankful for what you are doing. May God bless you. And as we continue to pray, that God will work a miracle for those people. Whatever you said the right thing. God bless you, Pastor.
Thank you, brother. Caller, you're live. What's your feedback from the topic at hand, the crisis? Caller?
Hello?
Yes, you're
Hello?
live.
Good afternoon, Pastor.
You're calling from the UK.
No, I'm calling from Jamaica. It's Sister Parks. We migrated here 3 years ago. And we live in the East. And, you know, I heard you talked about a gentleman that was helping persons with their solar. And we are doing exactly the same thing, you know. Meat in our freezer. We are plant-based, we've been plant-based for years. Meat in our freezers. Phones, we have phones everywhere, every single where. We are so grateful and thankful to God. Only our farms, all our farms in this community are destroyed. But, you know, no life and a couple of roof off, no life. But we are really, really grateful and thankful. Now, we have some clothes that we bought from the UK, because we used to feed the homeless in the UK. We have some clothes, and we're trying to see how best we can get it out. We've been doing a book ministry here in Jamaica. 3.5 years, me and my family. We have not done for the last 3 weeks because of the heat and then the hurricane, but we intend to be back out on the road. We love working for the Lord. You know? Yes.
Thank you so much for calling in and sharing. Timely. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Pastor. Bye.
Sure. Okay, friends, we're going to... I just received several messages here from the team, and I'm going to sift through these. Then by God's grace, I will return with an update. So Jamaica, SDAs and non-SDAs, help is on the way. Help is on the way. And not on the way in the future, help has already begun. Help has already begun. Pray for the group that will be getting items. Mercy. Praise God. So I just received message, as you can see right there on the screen. The items have been secured. So now they're sorting. They're sorting and getting ready for going down tomorrow because it's now 2:00. And it's a good trip based on time to get down to ground zero. And they want to get down there early enough to distribute and get back before it gets dark. And of course, they will be meeting the needs right now with the food, the water, the sanitary supplies, clothes, and the temporary housing. And between now, tomorrow, and Sunday. So please keep that in prayer, and updates will be coming forth, pictures and videos. Stay tuned for that by God's grace. Let's go into a season of prayer here, friends. Season of prayer at this time.
All right.
I have several more clips. I'll save those until we come back. Let's pray. Father in heaven, we're thankful for Jesus Christ, our great intercessor in the most holy place of the heavenly sanctuary. He says, come boldly to the throne of grace, and we will obtain mercy and find grace to help in time of need. Lord, we are in time of need, a great time of need. And without you, we can do nothing. And we believe that you measured and weighed this crisis before you allowed it. We also believe that since you did that, that there is a way to escape, a way to bear what we're going through. We also believe that you are able to deliver. You're able to sustain. You're able to preserve. You're able to protect. And we believe you have already begun that good work. Keep us faithful. Lord, multiply the resources that we have. We feel like Philip and Andrew in John 6. What are these among so many? Work a miracle that we can really impact souls. Physically, mentally, socially, financially, yea, chiefly spiritually. And this might very well be a way in which we can erect lighthouses in these communities. We met their needs, and now we bid them to follow us as we follow Christ. Be with the workers on the grounds. We hear the horror stories, and there are many more. Protect the Samaritans who are going to assist the wounded. Send a retinue of holy angels to belt, surround your good Samaritans, that the Samaritans would not be wounded and be hindered from assisting others who are wounded. What a sight, what a picture. And may us all unite in spirit and in truth to accomplish this work. Truly, it's in a crisis that character is revealed. May we not manifest ourselves as people who can be bought and sold. May the spirit of Judas Iscariot be removed. Even the spirit and mindset of Ananias and Sapphira from Acts 5 be eradicated from our hearts. May the spirit of selfishness like Achan, covetousness like Achan, be removed from our hearts. And may the character of Christ be revealed, manifested, that they may say these people are truly Christians. Bless the updates that will be forthcoming, and may the spotlight be shed. We know Jamaica is not the only place suffering. There are suffering people all over the world, even now in the Philippines. Overnight, yesterday, the typhoon destroyed central Philippines. The cry of suffering humanity is rising, and is being done so frequently. But we can only do what we can do. And if everybody focus on one part of the global vineyard, we can do a great work for you. Because we have angels from heaven who excel in strength by our side. Keep us faithful. And we claim the promise of 1 Corinthians 10:13, that there's no crisis, no tribulation, no situation, no temptation that's taken us, but such as is common to man. You are able, you are faithful. Maybe not forget that God is able, God is faithful. We thank you for hearing, we thank you for answering, is our prayer in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. My friends, we will stop it right here. And by God's grace, I'll see you on tomorrow. And if not tomorrow, I'll come back later on if I get some great updates for you. All right? God bless until we meet again. If not later on, I'll see you on tomorrow. Not just diagnosis, but practical solutions. God bless. Maranatha.